Hello everyone, this is Nambita. Hope you all are doing good and staying safe. This session is a continuation session related to Salesforce Object Query Language. If you are watching this session for the first time, I would request you all to please watch our session 1, wherein we discussed in detail about what is the definition of an SOQL, what is the purpose of SOQL, how to write an SOQL query in Salesforce. So we have used a developer console in order to write a query which will fetch the records or get the records from the Salesforce database for both the standard as well as the custom objects. So now we will mainly discuss or understand how can we query related object information. In Salesforce, we have relationships, right? Like you have lookup relationship, you have master detail relationship. So what does this relationship do? This relationship relates two objects together. Now, when you relate two objects together, SOQL will return the fields from both of these two objects. Let's take an example or a use case. In Salesforce, you have account and contact object. These are the standard objects, right? So the relationship between the accounts and the contact is mainly a lookup relationship on the Salesforce UI, but it has a specific property called as a cascade delete. So what does that mean, cascade delete? So if you delete the account, which means it deletes the associated contacts. So here both the account and contact are related to each other, that is parent to child or child to parent. Here parent is account, child is contact. You can also query the records from child to parent, which is child is contact and parent is account. So now let us see how to write a query between these two standard objects, that is account and contact, that is parent being the account and child being the contact. So we will be discussing about how to create a SOQL query for the related object. Both the related objects could be two standard objects. Related objects could be one standard object and one custom object. It could be both the related objects could be the standard custom objects. So today we will mainly see on two standard related objects. Okay, so now let's see parent to child and child to parent, how to write these queries in Salesforce. So let's log in into our Salesforce DevOps. So I've already logged in into a Salesforce DevOps. So as I was mentioning, we will be using the account object and we'll also using the contact. In the accounts, you have these and all of the different fields that is available. And in context also, we have different types of fields which are available. So first mainly we'll start with parent to child Salesforce Object Query Language query, that is parent to child query. So when you are using a parent to child, the parent is account, child is contact. So in order to fetch the records from this child, we will be using a subquery, that is a nested query. So we will see how can we write a parent to child query using our developer console. Those who are watching our video for the first time, in order to navigate to the developer console, you have to go to the setup. Here you see on the right hand side the gear icon, right? When you click on it, you see developer console. You click on this developer console, it will open a new tab, new window, and then at the query editor, you can write your SOQL query. So we'll start with a basic query. Select name from. Here we are mainly concentrating on the parent to child query, right? So let's see account. So account is the parent. The child, as I was mentioning, we will be using a subquery if you want to fetch the records from the child. So first we will try to pull in a lot of other fields from the account ID. Then let's go to here, owner ID, phone, email, and let's try to execute. Okay, it's happening. Let's see if this comes out. Okay, it may be something different. Let's not worry about that. Phone. So we were able to fetch all the records. So there are total 9 account records which are available in the Salesforce, and all of these column values are displayed. You have name, you have ID, your owner ID, you have phone. If you want to use any other fields, you can use it. Now let's try to fetch the records from the child, because we are mainly here the main objective is parent to child query, right? So this is the parent. Now how do you fetch the queries from the child? So in order to do that, we will have to use a child query. Click on click comma, and when you want to start your child query, you will have to start with the braces. Then here use the select. Let's use name from contact. Okay, this is just I'm just writing it down over here. We will see what and all are the different fields that you have to retrieve from the child object. Here you have account ID, comma, then you have email, then you have name I have fetched, then phone. Here, since we are pulling the information from the related for the child object, here we should not be using the direct object name. We should be using the child relationship name. And how can you take a look into that? How can you check that? Here you see you have a lookup relationship to the account, right? When you click on this, you will be able to see the child relationship name. Here the child relationship name is contact. So here when you write subquery in order to fetch the records from the child, you will have to use the child relationship name. So this is something which is very important. You will have to keep a note of it. Whenever you are trying to query anything from parent to child, that is parent to child, the parent, if you want to fetch the records from the child, you will always have to use the child relationship name. So here when you hover onto this question mark, it clearly defines that this field defines a relationship between this object type and a parent object type. The child relationship name is used in SOQL queries on the parent object type to refer to this specific object. So basically, if you want to refer or pull any information or retrieve any information from the child object, you will have to use the child relationship name. So let's go back here and let's see the child updated to child relationship name and click on execute. When you click on execute, it is pulling all the information related to that, all the accounts available in the Salesforce and its related contacts information. So now if you remove this child relationship name and click on execute, it will not give me. So what is the error it is throwing? It is giving me the error on the specific contact, and it says that it is not able to understand the relationship contact in from part of the query call. So that is the reason whenever you are using this nested query, you will have to, from between the parent to child, here you will have to use the child relationship name. Let's click on execute. So here it will retrieving all the fields, that is phone, name, ID, owner ID, phone from the account, all of this, and it is also pulling the information from the contact associated to that specific account. So this is the outer query, okay, and this is called as a inner query. So the outer query, it will gets run first. It will run the outer query. So what does it do? It gets all of this information from the account, then it runs the inner query. It will look at the account related contacts and it will retrieve all of those from these related accounts, related contact of that specific account. So likewise, how many number of accounts you have it in the system? So in our case, there are total 9 accounts which are available in the system. So what it does, it will repeat until it processes all the records. So it will repeat all the records, all the associated records, contact records associated with this specific account, all the 9 accounts. So here if you see, all the informations are being pulled up, and here it will also be, if you see the inner query here, that contacts, from the contacts it is giving me sample. It has the Salesforce, what is the account, then SFDC one stop, it has all the informations, Let's go here. Then it is also giving me that you just don't have a single record, you also have two records for the same SFDC. So now when you click on this and try to see here, so what it is doing, it is giving me that you have numcat, that is one contact, associated account ID. Then it is also giving me the second contact associated to this specific SFDC one-stop account. So that is how you use the parent to child query if you want to fetch the information from parent, that is account, and the child. So now let us see how to retrieve from child to parent. Okay, so in our case it is reverse. Now it is child is contact, parent is account. So earlier we were seeing from parent to child, now from child to parent. Okay, so let's reverse it here. Let me delete this. And before we go to the child to parent, now in this specific query also, if you would like to use some kind of filtration, you can definitely use the filtration like name where name like SFDC and stop. Let's see. It is just giving me that specific account, associated account contacts it is retrieving. So you can use the where clause here. So now let's use sample query, select from contact. So this is child. So let's use some fields here, name, fields from the contact. Okay, here we don't need a child relationship name. Child relationship name is only related, it is used when you want to retrieve the information from parent to child, when you're using the subquery or the nested query. When you are using from child to parent, it is not needed to use the child relationship name. You just have to refer to that specific account, that object from where you would like to fetch that specific account dot all the field names. So here you have the account ID, comma, let's use email from contact. Let's click on this. It is fetching all of this information right from the contact. Now let us use the information. I need the information of the account. So here I'm using account dot. Let's go to here, and what I need, account dot name dot account dot owner ID, account dot, if you need anything else you can use that. So here what it will fetch, click on execute. You see here it is first all the information related to the contact will be pulled and associated, that specific contact has an account as well, right? That account name, account owner ID, account industry will be pulled. So here if you see we have two contacts created for the SFDC one stop. So let's go to the account here. So here if you see this is the account, this account SFDC one stop, and here if you see under the contacts there are two contacts which are available, SFDC one stop contact, numcat contact. So now when you go to the query here, you have the account name, these are the two accounts, and you have the contact also displayed. So here we are pulling the information of that specific associated account information as well. What is the account name, what is the industry it is associated with. So this is how you use the related query if you want to pull the information between two related objects, whether it could be the standard objects or it could be the custom objects. So that is what we have for today's session. In our next session, what we will do is we will be covering the same topic. However, we will be using the SOQL which will retrieve the objects, that is where we will use two objects which are related. One is standard and one is the custom objects. That is how to write the queries for two objects that are related. One is the standard and the other one is the custom. In today's session, what we have discussed between two standard objects, two related objects, which are two related standard objects we have discussed. So until that specific session, please do take care of yourself. Signing off, yours Namrata Kadiyala. Bye bye.